Bienvenido a otro video del Colegio Boston. No olvides suscribirte, activar la campanita, darle like y compartir.
Hello guys, how are you? Well, my name is Teacher Priscilla. And first of all, well, I hope that you and your family are okay in your house. And well, today we are, in this session, we are going to talk about present simple and present continuous, okay? So these are not new topics. So today's session is going to be just like a reminder of these tenses, okay, which are really simple for you, okay? So first, we need to start with some vocabulary that is going to be part of your certification, okay? So in the agenda, today we are going to have the vocabulary as the first part, okay? After that, we are going to discuss what is present simple or simple present, okay? That is exactly the same. And of course, we are going to finish with present continuous or present progressive, okay? That's another way in which we can call these tense, okay? So here, we are going to talk about communication and technology, okay? This is some vocabulary that maybe you already know, maybe that vocabulary that you are familiar with. Okay, so today we are just going to review this a little bit fast, okay? And of course, if you have questions about it, you can take notes, okay? So here, now that we are looking at these pictures, okay, we have that the first picture that is an email address, okay? If we only say address, that means the exact place where you live, okay? And in this case, since we are talking about technology, the address is referring to the email address, okay? That in this case is this part, okay? That is your email address, okay? Now, when we are using the email address, we have some elements that are part of this little email address, okay? For example, this symbol, we call it at, okay? That is the name for this little symbol, at. And this symbol is a dot, okay? So for example, here, the address would be filol@gmail.com, okay? So this is regarding to the email address, okay? Now, this is an envelope, okay? It can be for something physical, okay? Or also, if you are talking about technology, that is also the name that you can use, okay? Next, this is a file. It can be a folder, here a binder, okay? A digital binder or a digital folder. That is a file, okay? Or also it can be just one, a document, okay? Those are files, documents, okay? Now, if we see this word is net, okay? Literally, this is a net, okay? But since we are talking about communication and technology, we know that net is not this, okay? Net is everything related to the internet, okay? It's something that we cannot see, but it's a way that we use or the internet uses so we can communicate to each other using internet, okay? Now, This is really common for you, and I'm pretty sure that all of you know this word. This is a password, okay? A password is my secret word to open something. For example, I'm pretty sure that if you have a cell phone, it has a password, okay? It can be a pattern, it can be a word, it can be numbers, okay? Or anything that you want. It can be, in this case, a password, okay? It can be for your cell phone, or also uh, you can protect some documents using a password, okay? For example, also, if you have, for example, your social media, you have your Facebook, your, I don't know, your Instagram, okay? And if you want to open it in a different device, you are going to need a password, okay? That is, again, your secret word or a secret code for you, okay? Then we have the web, okay? That is like the internet. Then we have a web page, okay? That you can see it in this little part, that is a web page, okay? And this is the website, okay? For example, now that we need to order some things from the internet, or that we need to check some things online, most of the most of the stores or most of the business, they already have a website, okay? That is like an online store, okay? That's a website, okay? Now, that's it for the vocabulary. Now we are going to talk about the grammar, okay? As I told you, this is not a new grammar. This is a grammar that you already know, okay? So we are going to remember a bit about these tenses, okay? For example, here we have some pictures, and they have some um, phrases, or they have some sentences, okay? Let's check. In the first one, we have these kids, and they say, we read a lot, okay? And here we have, they are looking at their books, they read a lot, okay? Then we have this other picture, and it says, I like ice cream, okay? I do too. And here we have, he's eating an ice cream. He likes ice cream, okay? So here, we need to be able to identify which is present simple and which one is present continuous, okay? But if you still have some problems identifying these tenses, don't worry, today we are going to cover that part, okay? But here you have example of the two tenses, okay? Now, first, let's remember some of these rules, or let's remember the structure of these tenses, okay? So we have here that the simple present in affirmative, we need to use the subject, that it can be I, you, he, she, it, we, they, my mother, my teacher, my friends, okay? The verb and the complement, okay? And here we have the examples. You play soccer on Sundays, he plays soccer on Sundays. Okay, guys, this is really important that you remember, because most of the time you forget about this, okay? So this is something that it cannot continue happening, okay? So you need to remember that we need to add s when we are using third person in simple present affirmative, okay? Let's remember that simple present is he, she, or it, okay? So this part, okay, that we need to add s to the verb, is really, really important, okay? From this level, we cannot have those errors, okay? We need to be very careful at the moment when we are speaking, okay? So this is about simple present. Now, let's talk about present continuous, okay? So with present continuous, the structure is a bit different, okay? We need a subject. After that, we need to use the verb to be. Let's remember that the verb to be, it can be am, is, or are. And after that, we need to write, or we need to say the verb with ing or the verb in gerund. After that, we need the complement. Remember that the complement is my extra information, okay? Here we have, you are playing soccer now, okay? He is playing soccer now. Notice that the difference here basically is the verb, okay? In here, I have just, in simple present, I have the verb in base form or with S. And here I have the verb with ing and I need my verb to be. Okay, that is something characteristic about the present continuous. And here it is. Remember to use the verb to be plus the main verb in gerund. Okay, so this is the verb to be and this is my main verb or the principal verb in gerund with ing. Okay, then here let's talk about, well, affirmative and negative is almost the same, okay? Here, let's talk about simple present and present continuous in questions, okay? So here we have do and does plus the subject plus the verb plus the complement, okay? And here I have my example. Does she practice karate? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Notice that I am using my auxiliary does. Okay, that is auxiliary for simple present. It can be do or does. Okay, and when we are talking about negative, remember that we use don't or doesn't. Okay, then in present continuous, we have the questions. And for the questions, we need to use the verb to be, the subject, the verb with ing, and the complement. Okay, so here we have an example. Is she practicing karate today? Yes, she is. No, she isn't. Notice that the answers are different because I am using a different auxiliary. Okay, so you need to be very careful when you are asking these kind of questions because the auxiliaries are totally different. Okay, now we already remember the structures, okay? Well, let's check the negative, okay? Here we are using negative. In simple present, we have the subject, we have don't or doesn't, as I told you before. We have the verb and the complement. In this case, he doesn't work on the weekend, okay? And let's remember that when we are using negative, my verb is going to be in base form. We don't need to add S, okay? Now, in present continuous, to make a negative sentence, I need to use the subject, the verb to be, not, the verb with ing, and the complement, okay? Remember that we can make some contractions in here. For example, I have he's not working these days, but we have another option that it could be he isn't working these days or he's not working these days, okay? So now that we have the structures, the basics, we are going to learn what is the difference in these tenses, okay? We are going to use present simple when we are talking about things that are true or things that are happening, things that happen sometimes or all the time. This is what we call permanent situations, okay? And I'm giving you some examples, okay? For example, I live in Cancun. Your English is good. You speak very well. He works very hard. He starts at 7 and finishes at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The earth goes around the sun. So all of these examples are in present simple, okay? Now, when we have present simple, we can use some frequency adverbs, okay? Let's remember we have always, never, often, usually, and sometimes, okay? So I'm giving you some examples in here, okay? So we have, she always gets to work early. I never eat breakfast. We often go away on the weekends. Mario usually plays football on Sundays. You sometimes walk to work, but not very often, okay? So notice the verbs, and they are in base form, or they have the S, because they are using a third person, okay? So now let's continue, guys. Now, if you notice here, I am doing and I do. This is the present continuous because I am using ing, and this is present simple because my verb is in base form, okay? So I'm showing you here a little text that it says, Luis is watching television. That is an action that he's doing in this moment. He is not playing the guitar, but Luis has a guitar, okay? He often plays it and he plays very well. Luis plays the guitar, but he's not playing the guitar now, okay? So as you can see, we can combine the tenses if we want to mention or if we want to make reference about a routine, about a habit, and if we want to indicate that somebody is doing something in a specific, in or at a specific moment, okay? So here we have some questions. Is he playing the guitar now? No, he isn't. Does he play the guitar? Yes, he does. Okay, so normally he plays the guitar, but he's not playing it right now. Okay, so now we are going to know the difference, or we are going to talk about present continuous. Okay, when we talk about present continuous is when we are talking about actions that are happening in this moment. Okay, and they are going to finish soon. This is what we call temporary situations. Okay, so here I'm giving you some examples. Please be quiet. I'm doing my homework now. Take an umbrella with you. It's raining. Why are you under the table? What are you doing? So if you notice, all of these are activities that are happening in this moment, and they are temporary situations. Okay, so basically that is the main difference between simple present and present continuous. Okay, so here, when we are talking about simple present, about present continuous, sorry, these there are some verbs that we don't use. Okay, they don't normally go with ing. These are these verbs: like, love, want, know, prefer, hate, need, believe, forget, depend. Okay, these verbs, they normally go with present simple. Okay, so now we are going to have some activities. Okay, some sentences that we need to complete using am, is, are, or we need to use do, does, don't, or doesn't. Okay, so we have the number one. Excuse me, you speak English. What do you think the correct answer is? Perfect, because we are talking about a permanent situation. Okay, and notice that the verb is in base form. It doesn't have ing. Okay, so where is Katie? I don't know. What's funny? Why you laughing? Notice that we have ing. So, why are you laughing? What your sister do? Notice that we don't have ing, so we need to use the auxiliary for present simple that is does. Okay, because we are talking about my sister, well, your sister, and it's a she. Then it's raining. So notice that we have ing. So it's raining. I don't want to go out in the rain. We don't have ing, okay? So where you come from? Here we don't have ing. So we need to use simple present. Where do you come from? Canada. How much it costs to send a letter to friends? We don't have ing. Okay, so how much does it cost to send a letter to friends? Johan is a good tennis player, but he plays very often. Here I am using very often. This is a frequency adverb. And remember that when we use a frequency adverb, we use simple present. Okay? So here we have some more activities. In this case, we need to complete them using present continuous or present simple. Okay? For example, excuse me, speak English. Okay, so the complete question would be, excuse me, do you speak English? What about the number 2? Let's check. Listen, somebody is singing. Okay. Susie is tired. She wants to go home now. Okay. What time? This is a question. What time does your father finish working every day? Okay. The key word is every day, because that means that it's a routine. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you speak more slowly? Liz doesn't like coffee. She prefers tea. Memo, we have the keyword now. So Memo is driving now, but he, and we have a keyword that is usually, but he usually works, okay? Because I have the keyword that is telling me that is a simple present activity, okay? Finally, I don't watch television very often. Again, I have my keyword that is very often, okay? So, thank you so much, guys, for attending the session, for attending the class. Remember, this is the English Academy, and we hope that you are okay and that you are studying at home, okay? I really hope to see you soon, okay? Take care. Goodbye.